what's the difference between the baby being in the womb and the sort of the journey out of the birth canal and then being out of the womb, when suddenly all of the force of British law and US law, I would assume as well, come into force, and suddenly that child acquires a whole set of rights that it doesn't have inside the womb. A lot of people, rather like you seeing this arbitrary distinction at 24 weeks, would say, well, why the arbitrary distinction at birth? Why?
I think it's a really excellent question. I think it's a really difficult question. And it's something that I'm really struggling with myself, actually, to think about how to explain this. I'm doing a second edition of a book I wrote on the moral case for abortion, and this is one of the points that I've been challenged with, and I'm really trying to get together to do some thinking on it, because clearly from the fetal perspective nothing changes.
No, only the location.
I mean, it's simply a matter of geography, and that doesn't matter to the fetus any more than, as you quite correctly say, my 23 weeks and 6 days, or 24
plus
days
5 minutes,
plus 5 minutes. Nothing has changed from the point of view of the fetus. But from the point of view of the woman, everything has changed. Because what happens is that once that baby is born, it's possible for whole teams of people to become involved with the maintenance of that life and the looking after that baby without it in any way impacting on the life of the woman. Whereas before that delivery, then there is nothing that anyone can do to impact on the life of that unborn baby without it affecting the life of the woman
at some level.
And that's something that in Britain, I think it's a little bit different actually in the States, but there's lots of discussion around, should a woman be forced to have a cesarean section if that is going to benefit the baby that would be born following it. And in Britain, we have a really strong sense of the value of bodily integrity that says, actually, even if a cesarean section will save your baby's life, unless you consent to it, it cannot take place.
The bodily autonomy of the woman.
So the bodily autonomy of the woman is something that is seen as
more
very
important in that sense than.
And I think when it comes to abortion, that is a very, very important principle.
And that's for you where you find yourself with this question mark of the location of the baby being in or out of the womb.
I think once it's born, once it's out of the body, we no longer have an issue of the woman's bodily autonomy.
Right. What's your response to that way of trying to square this moral dilemma about whether it would make just as much sense to kill a child outside of the womb as within the womb?
Well, I think this is the slippery slope where we end up, with the governor of Virginia saying we keep it comfortable while we decide what to do with it, basically. And
because this does happen effectively, as you were saying earlier, in abortions that
don't the percentage of women that have late-term abortions because, of fetal abnormalities is very small. I mean, it's a small percentage of it. But when we get to the point where we're talking about it doesn't have awareness, so is that okay then to abort it or, kill it? Soon, then we're going to be talking about people in nursing homes or people that have had an accident and are in a coma for a week. They may not wake up. Should we just disconnect them? And as loving, caring humans, which I know we all are. I mean, I respect you, but at what point do we draw the line?
For more conversations between Christians and skeptics, subscribe to the Unbelievable podcast. And for more updates and bonus content, sign up to the Unbelievable newsletter.